Good evening. This is the Rowley Board of Selectmen meeting for March 4th, 2013, and this meeting is being audio and video recorded. Frank is with us tonight, and I'm going to ask him to give us the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the chairman doesn't have any comments tonight. And at 7:05, citizens' query will be open till 7:15. And at 7:15, we have a public hearing for illuminated sign special permit application from Gateway. Okay, it's now just about 4 minutes past 7. So our first agenda item will be general business. Request from North Shore Tour de Cure for one-day annual cycling event request. Okay. General business. Request from North Shore Tour de Cure for one-day annual cycling event request. The American Diabetes Association has requested to have the annual race travel on Route 1A through Rowley on Sunday, May 19th, 2013. The police chief, fire chief, and highway department have reviewed the request and have no comments or concerns. There's a package of information here about the association. There is a map that kind of gives us the route. They're actually going to be on through Rowley. Looks like they're coming down 1A. Actually, they're coming from Newburyport, or going to Newburyport, from Ipswich on 1A. Here we go. Ipswich, yeah, all the way up through into Newbury, into Newburyport on Route 1A. So, is there anybody got any other questions? They have supplied.
Looks pretty good.
Yep, they have supplied a certificate of insurance. Yep, which is what we require. There's a letter from the highway department, and they state they will be available for assistance for a one-day ride along Route 1A going through Rowley for the American Diabetes Association Tour de Cure. Police chief has reviewed the plan, and it appears the same as previous years, and no issues have been raised or observed in the past. Therefore, I have no objection.
And the fire chief was saying, I think, wasn't it? Oh, from Newbury to Ipswich, right? So.
Well, I think it's
1A.
one way. Is that what they're saying? Newbury to Ipswich. Okay, so they're coming from Newbury to Ipswich, heading south on 1A through Rowley. Let's see correspondence there. So, and the fire chief says he has no issues. So we're all set there. Okay. So if there's no other questions or comments, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I entertain a motion to request from North Shore Tour de Cure for the one-day annual cycling event requested for Sunday, May 19th, 2013.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to allow Tour de Cure to come through Rowley on Route 1A. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, that one's all set. Yeah, but we just want to review the liquor license, or are we going to be acting on it?
We're not going to be acting on it. I just wanted to follow up to last week's meeting
Okay,
to let you know that we do need you to formally vote on the date and time for the hearing. We've already got the hearing set up, so it's sort of a ratification of that.
okay, so we can probably sneak that one in too then. General business number 2, review Rowley Country Club liquor license. The Rowley Country Club liquor license is complete. The public hearing is scheduled for Monday, March 18th, 2013 at 7:30 p.m. And the board needs to formally vote to set the date and time for this hearing. The Rowley Country Club is requesting a seasonal wine and malt restaurant license. Any questions, comments? Entertain a motion?
I move that we set the date for March 18th at 7:30 p.m. to consider the Raleigh Country Club liquor license.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes and get those squared away? For February 25th, open meeting and executive session meeting?
I don't.
I have.
I have. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments or changes to be made to the regular minutes of the February 25th, 2013?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as printed for February 25th, 2013.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes as presented for February 25th, 2013. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Executive session minutes for February 25th, 2013. Is there any comments or changes or problems with the minutes?
Oh, Mr. Chairman, we'd have to go into executive session if there were discussions.
Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion we accept the minutes of the Raleigh Board of Selectmen executive session meeting on February 25th, 2013.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, we've still got about 5 minutes to go. All right, why don't we jump down to old business? And number 1 is update from Vice Chairman Mary on proposed zoning bylaw changes. I don't know if you guys had a chance to get your mail, but the zoning review committee has proposed zoning amendments for the Maytown meeting. And there was a copy in your, I suppose you got a copy with the packet too. And the zoning proposals include a zoning map change for the business light industry zone to retail zone at 406 Havel Street, which was one we had on the agenda at the last annual town meeting, but because of some last minute changes to it, it didn't get, it was passed over. So that one's been re-forwarded, and we'll try to do it again at this town meeting. And there's a special permit granting authority, a change for illuminated signs. It would be the selectmen to the planning board. That one's proposed. Section 4 is text changes and renumbering an accessory in-law apartment grandfather clause. If you remember right, last year we had some changes to the in-law apartments on the annual town meeting. And after working with it for a while, they decided they needed to add a grandfather clause. So there's been basically some text changes, which were just more or less housekeeping things, and then the grandfather clause to make it a little bit easier to be able to use the bylaw. There's been some clarification on non-conforming uses. That'll be another one. They're making some changes to the multifamily density bylaw, and they're adding basically a paragraph to address solar photovoltaic use. Basically, photovoltaic use by, I don't know if it's state or federal law, I guess it's probably federal, is allowed in any zoning district. So that's basically what that would be addressing. So are there any questions or comments on any of these changes? I know you probably haven't had a chance to read them yet, but. It's more of a, I don't know if we need a vote on it because it will be coming forward as an article, as zoning articles. And actually there was a public hearing last Wednesday night that reviewed these, and there was no objection at that public hearing. So.
I think the committee did quite a job in reviewing the bylaws and making these proposed changes.
Yeah, it's been a interesting process. It really has. I mean, it's there's definitely, I mean, the way the zoning came about through the years, it's been added to and then changed and then added to and then taken away. And so it is somewhat difficult to work with. And because we do have the building inspector, who is the zoning enforcement officer, on the committee, we're able to get his insight as to how it operates on a day-to-day basis. And some of these changes that we see here now are to help straighten those out, so it makes it easier to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we can go through the whole set at some point. I don't think our job is done at this point. It'll be a while yet, but it is coming along. So
you don't need a vote on this?
no, I don't think we need a vote, do we, Deb? We really don't. I mean, this was just a more of an informational update.
Yes,
Because-
we'll be getting, I presume, a memo from the planning board formally recommending these for the town meeting warrant.
Yes, yeah. So, if I can talk for about another 20 seconds, we can go into our public hearing. So, let me see if I can find that package first, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
It's the blue, right there, that.
This is all I gotta read, Deb?
What is attached on the outside of the folder. is what
Okay.
you need to read. Most of the updated information is in that clip. The backup plans and everything are in the folder.
In the folder? Okay. Okay, it's being 7:15, the citizens' query has ended, and our public hearing will be open. Not open yet, we'll have to vote to do that, but we have a public hearing for illuminated sign special permit application from Gateway. This is a continued public hearing from February 4th, 2013, with an original hearing date of January 14th, 2013. No action was taken at the February 4th hearing because Mr. Coughlin was not in attendance. You weren't in attendance on the 4th. You were on the 14th, but not the 4th. So you were not in attendance. Okay. Gonna read the notice. And it's dated 5 December 2012. It's a legal ad, Town of Rowley Board of Selectmen permit illuminated signs. The Rowley Board of Selectmen shall hold a public hearing Monday, January 14th, 2013 at 7:15 p.m. in Rowley Town Hall, 139 Main Street, on an application by Joseph Coughlin of Gateway Realty Trust for a permit under section 8.6 illuminated signs of the Rowley Protective Zoning bylaws for an externally lit sign at 141 Newburyport Turnpike, also identified as parcel 16 on Rowley Assessors Map 14 in the retail district. Any person interested or wishing to comment should attend this hearing. Selectmen will accept written comments. Rowley Board of Selectmen, Robert Snow, Chairman. So that was the original public notice. The continuance was on the January 14th, and the continuance also on February 4th, 2013. And I'll finish off how we got there. Okay. Actually, we want to call for a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman. Open the public hearing, the illuminated sign special permit application for Gateway
Realty Trust.
Realty Trust.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to open the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. So the public hearing is open. At the request of the Board of Selectmen at the last meeting, Joseph Coughlin has submitted additional documentation for his lighted sign application. This information is attached. The new information has been sent out to department heads for their review and comments. The Chairman calls upon Joseph Coughlin of Gateway Realty Trust to come forward and discuss his application. After the board reviews the application with Mr. Coughlin, Chairman Mary reads the following correspondence concerning the application into the record. So you want to come up, Joe, and
Yeah,
kind of bring us up to date?
it's an existing sign, the lighting's there, but we're just gonna have to run the conduit up the side of the granite existing post.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were planning on doing was running it up the post closest to Route 1 and shining the lights on the sign
From the Route 1 angle.
from
in?
Route 1 into the property.
Okay.
So there's no chance of the inbound post shining it on it and then shining out to Route 1.
Right.
That would be the plan.
Okay.
So I think it's pretty straightforward.
And we've got your information here on the, you're gonna use the shields also, Joe?
Yes.
Okay. You're listed on the light catalog page.
Mhm.
Okay. That's all information. Okay, so now I've got to get into the package here. And read the correspondence. Police Department. Okay, this is from Frank Mastriani, Limited Lighting Bylaw Enforcement Agent, February 4th, 2013, special permit application, externally illuminated sign, Gateway Realty Trust. After review of the revised application submitted by Gateway Realty Trust, I would like to offer the following comments in reference to its compliance with section 8.6 outdoor illumination standards, including standards for illuminated signs of the Town of Rowley Protective Zoning Bylaw. Number 1. By the picture of the sign provided in revised information submitted, it appears that the lighting fixtures will be mounted on top of the side posts. It is not clear how the fixture will be mounted or if there will be a fixture on each side of the sign. If this proposal allows the fixtures to be pointed downward, they would comply with section 8.6.5.4 of the bylaw. And I think you mentioned they were gonna be on the top of the,
Yeah, if this is the top of the post, we'll have each side pointing down.
kind of
at-
pointing down towards the sign
And
itself.
in towards the property, not out towards Route 1.
Okay. Did you understand that, Frank? Okay, that's good. Number 2, after reviewing the manufacturer's data sheet, it appears that the light fixtures has a hood extension option. This extension would be needed to fully shield any glare to vehicular traffic on Route 1. If this extension is used and properly shields the light, it would be in compliance with section 8.6.5.5 of the bylaw. And you did say you're going to use the shield, so. Number 3, the illumination level on the surface of the sign per section 8.6.5.6 depends on the background color of the sign. The existing sign has a dark colored background which allows an average illumination level of 50 foot candles or less. The size of the sign is not stated in the application. However, according to the sign permit issued by the building inspector, the sign is approximately 32 square feet. It appears that there will be one fixture on each side of the sign. However, it is not stated on revised information submitted. According to the manufacturer's data sheet, the 150 watt bulb emits 68 lumens per watt for a total of 10,200 lumens. A total of 318 foot candles for one fixture will be produced. This would exceed the maximum limit according to the bylaw. Item 4, the application states that the sign will be lit from dusk to 10 p.m. The timer of the photo cell could be adjusted to match the closing time of the business to be in compliance with section 8.6.5.2. So it's basically, I think the bylaw says closing time rather than 10.
Okay.
Okay. So is there any other comment, Frank, that you have? No? Is there any questions you have, Joe?
No.
No? So you think you comply with those? What are we going to do with the foot candle?
Yeah, it was, well, according to the square foot of the sign, it seemed there's a lot of light there.
All right, I can talk to our electrician, and I'm sure they make that fixture in just a smaller one, you know what I mean? And then I can just get you a cut sheet on that.
Actually, it is a-
You're always, you're at the end, right? Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, I'm sure we can just put a different bulb in it, so. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I thought we had a- Yeah, there are several different replacement. We were looking at 150 watts. I'm assuming, is it going to be high pressure sodium, Joe? Do you know?
To be honest with you, I don't know, but I think we try to see if we can get an LED bulb of some sort so it'll last versus the high pressure sodium.
Yeah, the catalog sheet on the RAB lighting doesn't list an LED, but it does have either a high pressure sodium, which is a yellowish colored light, which probably would wash out the sign.
Exactly.
The sign would look orange.
You'd want something
Yeah.
white.
So you got the metal halide, and they offer that in 70, 100, 125, and 150 watt. So whichever one of those met the lumen requirement and the wattage requirement might be the one you want to pick.
Correct.
Rather than the 150.
It doesn't take much, we'd probably use the lower of the
Yeah.
bunch there.
I would think probably about 100 watt would probably do the job.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be my guess.
Mhm.
I'd have to look at the lumen for that. I don't see it on the cut sheet itself, but, so. Okay, so that's that one. The building inspector. Monday, February 4th, subject application for illuminated sign, Gateway Realty Trust. Amy, I received your email this AM. My comments are that I cannot tell where the lights are being located on the sign, and they appear to exceed the lumens allowed. So, Ken picked up the lumens area. I guess you've already indicated to us where they will be going on the sign, so we should have that covered. Raleigh Police Department, February 1st. I have no objection to the sign as proposed. Chief Barker. Okay, the Raleigh Planner. Let's see what she has to say. I guess that's a reply from her. Is that the next page? Okay, here we go. Okay, January 31st, 2013, Board of Selectmen, Katrina O'Leary, Town Planner. Sign application for freestanding sign 141 Newburyport Turnpike, Gateway Realty Trust. At the request of the Board of Selectmen, I have been asked to review the additional information supplied by the applicant, Gateway Realty Trust, for a special permit application for illuminated freestanding sign at 141 Newburyport Turnpike. As the Board's authority on this application is specific in nature, I will limit my comments to the proposed sign's conformance with Section 8.6.5.1 sign illumination, and will leave comment regarding its apparent degree of conformity, dimensions or otherwise, with Section 8.4 signs to the building inspector. From the literature provided, it is not clear if the applicant is proposing to illuminate the freestanding sign from the top or bottom. If the proposal is to illuminate from the bottom, I believe a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals would be the correct permitting process if he wishes to proceed, because it is clear from Section 8.6.5.4 that illuminaires mounted from below the sign are not permitted. However, if the floodlights described in the literature are to be installed above the freestanding sign, they should be properly shielded to prevent glare to pedestrians and vehicular traffic. Also, the resulting average illumination level on the surface of the sign shall not exceed 20-foot candles on the light-colored background and 50-foot candles on the dark-colored background. So that's that. So, does the board have any questions?
Well, I think the sign is going to be illuminated from the top, and that you're going to adjust the wattages on it. I don't have any questions.
Okay. Looking at the rest of the information here, it's basically the cut sheets.
Right.
Is there any other comments from anyone else?
No, I think, Mr. Chairman, that Joe knows what we're up against, what he's gotta do,
Yeah, we'll do what we have to
do what they gotta do. And I see no problem with it.
Okay.
He understands what he's gotta do.
Joe's heading them in toward the building on Oakland Road.
Yeah, I think that's really,
I have no problem.
Okay, so I guess what and Frank, you're all set? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, the only thing was the brightness. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, so we would recommend a lower wattage to try to meet the lumen requirement, wattage requirement. Is call for a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we allow the illuminated sign for Gateway Realty Trust at
Okay, we have a motion.
125.
125 Turnpike.
I think that is.
That could
I'll
be a
second
sign
that.
for any of that, Joe. Thank
I'll
you.
second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Looks like
Thank
you got
you.
your lights.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you. Have a
thank
good
you.
evening.
You too.
Thank you, Joe.
And I need a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make the motion that we close the hearing.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Hearing is closed. And our next appointment is at 7:30, joint meeting, Personnel Board to discuss personnel study. And I notice that Mr. Peterson is here from the Personnel Board to meet with us.
Yeah, Bob Stowe, who serves as on your, obviously your chairman,
Right.
isn't here tonight, and he's also a member of the Personnel Board.
Okay,
So that means that we don't really need a joint meeting because we don't have a quorum of the Personnel Board.
Exactly. So you'll give us a report?
I will give you a report.
Wonderful.
Just for the record, my name is Dave Peterson. I'm a member of the Personnel Board. We actually work for you people, the Board of Selectmen. And the three members are Bob Snow, myself, and Jack Demento, who is currently ill and has been unable to attend any of the meetings. So Bob and myself have been conducting the meetings along with the personnel officer, who's Mrs. Egan, the town administrator. So basically, last year at the town meeting, or leading up to the town meeting, the Personnel Board realized that over the years there's been serious inequities in pay between our community and other communities of similar positions, as well as issues involving similar positions within the town, how the whole pay structure is conducted. And we've been reviewing job descriptions, and when a squeaky wheel gets the grease, someone comes in and wants to have their position looked at, we take a look at it and make recommendations for pay increases, which we've done a number of times. So as a result of that, we've ended up with a rather hodgepodge of, almost like when you were talking about the zoning issues, that we've got a hodgepodge of pay scales and things aren't related to each other, and we really had no idea how our pay rates compared to other towns for comparable positions. So as a result of that, we requested $10,000 through the Board of Selectmen for the town meeting to conduct a study, and that was approved, and as a result, we hired Human Resources Services, Inc. out of Andover to conduct the study for us. So basically, the town's consultant has completed the study, which included conducting a wage and salary survey of comparable towns in the area and taking these wages and developing a step system for the town of Raleigh. Now the Personnel Board is working on the cost out of such a system. The consultant has given us a template to be used in development and implementation of the town system, the implementation of which is our priority at this point. However, the Personnel Board realizes, and you have a copy of the report that you've been given, that the town at this point is unable to afford jumping into this with both feet at this time. It's a matter of trying to make adjustments to salaries and salary rates and structures, and obviously we've fallen behind in a good number of positions. So what our job at the Personnel Board right now is we're trying to take a look at what the recommendations are and how we can implement a plan that the town of Raleigh can afford based on its economic situation in conjunction with the Board of Selectmen. So at this point, what we've done is we've looked at union positions, non-union positions, and elected positions. We wanted to get a cross-section of all these jobs and job groups so that we can really see where we fit. Now obviously, the union issues of police, fire, the ASME union, for instance, these are all rates that are bargained. Those positions have been included in the study for comparative purposes, but obviously the Personnel Board at this time needs to wait for the bargaining to ensue with you people and the union. So what we're looking at now really is a comparison of the non-union and professional positions within the town. And what we hope to have done in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, is we're in the midst of it now, is taking the template and then all the data that's included in this package and rewriting it in a way that will be effective for the town of Raleigh and commensurate with what monies we hope will be available to fund the raises in this first year. So that I'd like to just quickly go through the report here. I'm not going to read it, I'm not going to go into great detail. If you have questions, feel free to ask me as we go along. And I think probably one of the more important places to look is on page my page is a little mixed up here. Listen, I don't know what, do they have all the pages?
The text.
If you've got pages 5 and 6, that basically, do you have those?
No.
All right, Jim, this is Egan, the he's gonna get them for you. Must have been a problem with the copying, but basically what we did is we asked the consultant to, and we chose with her, in conjunction with her, a number of towns that were equal, more or less. There's no two towns are the same, obviously, but to give us a picture of what similar towns in our general area are paying for salaries. And what we come up with was based on equalized per capita populations, income per capita, operating budget within the town, populations, and the average tax bill. And when you get it, which you get it to you on pages 5 and 6, we ended up comparing Rowley to Boxford, Essex, Georgetown, Groveland, Hamilton, Manchester by the Sea, Merrimack, Middleton, Newbury, Rockport, Topsfield, Wenham, and West Newbury. So that the towns are all listed, they're broken down into categories, and then at the bottom of the chart is Rowley's figures, so you can get a good idea. And it bounces all over. It's really difficult to find exact duplicates. But that's the data that was compiled, and that data was put into, if you look, I believe you do have an addendum at the back, which is a chart, a 2-page chart that looks like this. And basically what that chart is the data that was compiled by the consultant, and what this 2 pages does, it breaks down all the positions that we asked the consultant to do a salary comparison on. And looking at the first, obviously the first column is position title within the government, and it goes down from general government, from town accountants, town clerks, selectman's office, town planner, down to the council on aging, firefighters, health and sanitation department, inspectional services such as the building inspector, the library, the police department, and the water department. So we really have a cross-section of all the positions. And if you notice, we've included, like the highway surveyor, for instance, the treasurer. These are elected positions. Union positions are included in this for the purposes of this study, and also non-union positions. And as I mentioned before, what we're really looking at right now and dealing with is coming up with a comparison of a pay structure for the first year for non-union positions, so that hopefully that we can get numbers in for the annual town meeting. And then once the unions bargain, assuming that we come to an agreement with the unions, or the Board of Selectmen does, the fall town meeting might be in order to fund those. And it all depends really on how the budget works out, how much money is available. So basically, very quickly, in reading this chart, if you look at the second column, it says Rowley. And then it has with each position, there's 2 numbers. That's our old system with the low and high pay of that position. So, in other words, Rowley is administrative assistant starts at the lowest pay is $14.44 an hour. The highest pay is $19.25 an hour. We then go across, and what we're using is the 4th column over. The points means how many communities that particular position was compared against. So we can see that some communities don't really have some of the positions we have. So that, like the assistant tax collector, there's only 2 communities that have that. So it limits how much information is available. But then what we did was, the next column over is the average, taking all those other communities that I listed. It takes the average low and the average high and the average means they add them all up and divide them by the number of communities. So it gives us an indication, and that's the kind of what we were shooting for, was to be in the average. We figured we wanted to put Rowley somewhere in the middle of the structure. And then on the, jumping over to the far right, the percent differential average, that shows how much we're off from what the average is. So for instance, the assessors administrative assistant is in the lowest pay range is 33% below the average, and the highest pay range is 12% below. Now our people, for this chart, we didn't actually list what our actual people are being paid. Our people are being paid somewhere, or this person would be paid somewhere in Raleigh between $14.44 and $19.25. So it's not on this chart, and that's what we're going through. That's what the personnel board and with the personnel officer, we're going through each individual position. And it's painstaking, believe me. We spent many hours on it so far, and we're gonna spend a number of more hours on it to come up with what the individual position pays, and then what would be a suitable, using the pay chart and a step system, and that comes up in the later, I guess it's earlier than this. If you look the 2 pages before the graph we were just looking at, is where we have there's a 10-step, a grading system and 10 steps. And we've already altered that quite a bit because the town can't afford it as it's presented by the consultant. But the consultant, we're using it as a template to create our own system, and that's what the consultant says is we should be doing. In other words, she's done the thing out the way she sees it, and then we need to rework it to implement within our own town. And that's what we're in the process of doing. So basically, that's where we stand. We've given this to you people for you to peruse, and if you come up with questions or concerns or whatever, bring them back to us. We're going to be meeting in the next couple of weeks, and I hope we'll be able to. We got a lot of the data already completed, and we're hoping to come in at either next week or the week after, hopefully, with a recommendation for non-union pay structure for the town meeting, so that assuming there's money available, that the taxpayers or the voters can, that new pay structure will be involved in will be voted at town meeting.
Voted at town meeting.
And start the process off, so.
Okay.
And it's, once again, like I say, it's up to you people to make the final decisions. We're just gonna make the recommendations and it'll go from there.
So there's a little bit more work to be done yet.
Yeah, we've really made great progress. The study was done. It really gave us a template to use, and we're setting up a system so that in the future we can build on that particular system so that we can keep things on an even keel.
Yeah.
And our recommendation probably will be that, I think we spent around $7,000 on the study. We appropriated $10,000. My recommendation at this point, and probably the board's recommendation, would be that we keep the rest of that $3,000 or whatever there, maybe appropriate a little bit more at a future date, and we should review this in approximately 5 years, and that's also recommended by the consultant, so that we see in 5 years how much progress we've made in terms of, and if we see issues or things that go as we go along, we can change them in the meantime. But
Make
meanwhile, it
adjustments,
sets up
yeah.
a date to really, it's for the benefit of the employees, it's for the benefit of the town, and union bargaining. I mean, we're trying to get a system in place so that everyone understands the system. Right now, it's a hodgepodge of,
Yeah, it's
nobody
just-
really understands it.
No,
Except probably
it really isn't working either.
Person-
So.
No, it isn't working, and this is gonna set something, it's gonna cost some money. I mean, we're not get out of this cheap. And I'm sure, as word gets out here, everybody thinks they're worth more than they're making, which is natural. And everybody's gonna look at, well, I'm making so-and-so, and someone else is making so. So these are kind of issues that are gonna have to be ironed out once all the decisions are made as to what the recommendation is for the pays. But at least we'll have a system in place, and hopefully enough money to fund it for the first year to set it in motion. And it gives us something you people, something to work with the unions when you go into bargain, so.
Yeah, and we need to, be somewhere in the ballpark anyway with our employees, because we will be, if we're not, we're gonna be taking them in, training them, and then they'll be leaving.
Yeah, it's important in a lot of these positions that there is a turnover. If we don't, we're competing with other towns, other communities, other businesses.
Yeah.
For a lot of these people, and if we're not in the ballpark and we're training them, and there's nothing more, you take a police department as a prime example of, we spend a lot of money in training and
Exactly.
everything else, and if we lose these guys to another town because they're paying a little bit more,
Yeah.
it costs us much more in the long run, so it's
Yeah.
something we've needed to take a look at, and it's really moving along quite well, and we're hoping to, like I say, be in within a couple of weeks and make some recommendations, and the information will be there. So I don't know if anything else you have to add to.
Okay, so I think what the board needs to do is to vote to authorize the personnel board to do the following. Establish a step system and cost out sheet for the non-union employees, and develop proposals for the Board of Selectmen for the union employees. And have Dave have the Personnel Board report back with the non-union cost out data for an upcoming Selectmen's meeting. So if we wanna, I'll entertain a motion, if there's
I'll
any
make that
questions or
motion.
discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion made.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good start,
See you in a
Dave.
couple of weeks.
Yeah, good start.
You'll have that for us in 2 weeks?
I hope so. I'm not guaranteeing it, because it's like a project at home. You think you're gonna get it done on one weekend, and 3 weekends later, you're still working.
A lot of, yeah.
We've already run into that.
That is very
And
true.
plus, the town administrator, besides being the personnel officer, is developing everything else for the budget and the town meeting and everything else. So her time is valuable, so we're squeezing it in, and she's doing a great job of working with us on the data, so.
Okay, so the minutes are all done.
Yeah, it gives us a good breakdown of the other towns that you got there. So we average them out, come up with something.
A lot of data, a lot of good data.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, thank you. Okay,
Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you.
the next order of business will be actually new business, aquaculture license. I see the Shellfish Commission here. Are our people here, Jack?
I'm here, the rest of them are in the hall.
Okay.
They're noisy down here.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Dave.
Good night now.
See you, Dave.
Swing by anytime. Love to see it.
Hi.
How you doing?
Very good. You? How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Okay, guys, if you could please sign in. I don't know where the thing is, but it's around here somewhere. If you to sign in, that'd be great. Okay, we're under new business, and it's aquaculture licenses, and the following licensees have requested an extension of the agricultural licenses. Licensee Michael Lord, lot number 12, Dan Purley, lot number 14, and Peter Freiberg, lot number 13. The following extension requests need to be discussed by the board. Joseph Sanders, lot number 15, has requested that the license be transferred into the name of his son Patrick Sanders. And Roland D. Nealon has made the following request. Lot 17 in his name be extended. Lot 16 in his father's name, Roy D. Nealon, be transferred to Cal T. Nealon. Cal T. Nealon. And lot number 19, extension for John Nealon. Okay. So it looks like the licenses are here. Deb, we need to vote on these? Is that what we're
We
going to do?
need to vote, and they're already, the original is with you.
These are,
I want to sign them, and they can,
okay, so these will be the transfer licenses?
they're already prepared
Uh-huh.
for the transfer.
Okay.
However, we know that if there's a discussion tonight,
Yeah,
if you vote different than what we've prepared, we can redo it tomorrow and have it ready for you to sign as long
Okay.
as it's been voted on.
so we've got these.
Do we have to vote that as a group or
Well, I think
one
the
at a
easiest,
time?
the first three that are on the table seem to be very straightforward extensions.
Mm-hmm.
The others just have unique, there's unique changes to each of the particular ones for Mr. Sanders and Mr. Nealon. So you may just need to do that separately. If the licensee is here, he may want to discuss that further with you.
There's Peter's.
So 12.
Okay, you want me to
12,
read
14, and
the
13.
request, Deb? I should read the request into the minutes?
Yeah, you could do that, yeah.
Okay, the first, as Debbie has mentioned, the first three are pretty much just straightforward extensions. And we have letters here of requests for the extensions. The first one being from Michael Lord, and his agricultural license number is 3122. He's requesting a license extension. It says, "Dear Board of Selectmen, I ask the board to please grant a 5-year extension to my agricultural license, which will expire this year. Thank you, Michael Lord." The second one, the letter is from Dan Purley, and he has Hog Island Point, lot number 14. "I would like to request an extension of the shellfish aquaculture lease. I am in compliance with the conditions of retaining the lot, for retaining the lot. I am also the only person keeping the shellfish propagation efforts ongoing on open town flats and other shellfish officials." And that's, thank you, Dan Purley. And the third one is from Peter Freiberg, Board of Selectmen Rowley, Hog Island Point, lot number 13, shellfish lease. "Dear sirs, I would like to request an extension renewal of my shellfish lease. I have invested in protection netting, buoys, and boundary markers, and am considering the purchase of hatchery seed. I believe that I am presently in compliance with all state and local regulations. I appreciate your consideration and await your decision regarding said lease. If there are any questions, I can be reached at," and he gives his phone number. Thank you, Peter Freiberg. So I'm assuming these are all 5-year extensions. Is that right, Jack?
Yeah, so.
5 year,
Yeah,
5 year,
typically the first extension is 5 years. yeah.
5 years, okay. Now, is there any question from the board?
No, I have no questions.
Any
Have no
concerns?
questions.
Just don't get my-
Sorry about that.
That's okay, so, just don't get my paperwork back. Jack, do you have any information or questions or comments?
No, I'm fine. If somebody has some questions, I'm here to answer them, but other than that, I have no
Okay,
questions.
is the, any of the applicants? Yes?
I'd just like to say that it was probably, Michael and I were just talking, it was probably 40 years ago that we walked off that flat. On a Saturday on the Horseshoe, there'd be 25 clammers on there. And about 40 years ago, we walked off there and there had not been a clam on there since. And that flat now there's a tremendous amount of clams on there. Not only is there a tremendous amount of clams from the nets that were put on there, but the flat actually is now starting to build itself back up to where it was years ago.
Was it years ago?
So
Wow.
it's tremendous amount.
Yeah,
of,
and certainly by you folks doing that aquaculture, it helps the whole rest of
oh,
the
no
area.
question.
You know, with the seed that's produced, just out of that
Yeah.
flat. So
Tremendous.
it really is good for the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, if there's no other discussion or questions, I'll entertain a motion to extend the licenses for Michael Lord, Daniel Purley, and Peter Freiberg.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded, and it'll be a 5-year extension. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay,
Mike, who's? I'm the new guy.
Dan Purley.
Dan Purley, Michael Lord, and Peter.
Peter.
Great.
so now we'll need to sign
Terrific.
those 3 licenses.
Is that the license or is
Yes,
that-
this
okay.
is the license.
Okay.
yeah. That's the last one, you can go back.
Jack, there's no fee for these, are they? They're just,
Well, it's $25 a year when they come in to pick up their annual permit.
okay, that would be for 5 years.
$25 a year, each year for 5
Oh.
years. Yeah, each year they have to come in, pay the 25
Okay.
bucks per acre, whatever they got.
So it'll
And
be
that gives them one more year.
125 for the 5 year, okay.
That keeps everything up to date. They also bring in their report of their agriculture
Right.
at that time.
Right.
That's all the state will allow, Jack. That's in chapter 130.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jack. Okay, so the second part of this is extension request needed to be discussed by the board. Okay, we did that. Joseph Saunders is lot 15, has requested that the license be transferred to the name of his son, Patrick Saunders. That's Joe
Yep.
and Patrick. Okay. Is there anything you want to tell us, or?
He's doing most of the work.
He's doing most of the work. Well, maybe he should benefit most, he should reap most of the harvest, right?
Yep, absolutely. That's the way I'm looking at
That
it.
only sounds fair to me. Yes, Jack?
I'd like to speak up for this Bob.
Okay,
Pat's the guy that's done all the work down there.
okay.
And now that he's turned 18, it's only right that his father turn it over, because he has done a lot of work and got a lot of nice flat down there. His father's been sleeping and hunting.
He's hammering on you, Joe.
That's all right. Every dog has his day.
Well, it sounds like a good deal to me. Is
Absolutely.
there any other comments, or anybody have anything to say?
No, if there are no other questions, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the transfer of this lease from Joseph Saunders to Patrick Saunders.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Stu just did.
Did, no, did you?
He-
Jack second?
Jack
Okay,
second.
we're all set to go then. Hey, that's great. All right. I call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to go to work now.
Patrick's a worker.
Thanks, Tom. The next one is the request from Roland D. Nealon, who's made the following request. Lot 17, in his name to be extended. And then we need Lot 16, in his father's name, Roy D. Nealon, to be transferred to Cal T. Nealon. And Lot 19, extension for John Nealon.
I'll make that motion.
No discussion?
No discussion.
Discussion, everybody's here? Anybody got any questions?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded, this is easy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. All we gotta do now is sign them. Okay, the first one is Roland D. Nealon, which is an extension. Ronald, I'm sorry, why do I keep saying Roland?
There's one of those in town also.
I know. I guess I was on the police department with him, that's why I keep thinking of it. Sorry about that, I apologize.
Happens all the time.
Jack, so, we have to put this for the file and for the minutes, so we can give you the originals and you can pass them out. Everything like ready to. You can't give these in tonight until we
Yep.
copy them
Yep.
for the records.
Okay.
We can give them all to you.
Well,
or should we put
Susan
them-
has to keep them on file, and what I'm gonna do is get a copy of hers and put it over in our file.
And then they're gonna want
They should have a couple.
So you want us to
Oh,
mail
you-
it to them, or you
I'll
just give
take
it to
them
you?
and hand them.
It's 3.
Seafood show was talking about. At the Boston Convention Center.
Give Susan 3 sets and I'll take care of one. And you can walk one more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the next?
Smoke salmon. That's what I-
Thank you. That's the last one going two back. Fishing here.
I don't imagine it's sometime, I'm gonna get going on it on town, but my 2 kids are interested in it, so. So, I think I want to-
Everything I got's down, so. Did that CD, did we get it? Stop for some of
Oh,
it.
if it's a bigger, if it's a bigger kids are playing, you need that, it seems like money for that. Yeah, let's say, yeah, catch seed, if you're just trying to, know when it comes to, usually different than it just to explain the area. Would make sense to have the type of method catch seed.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I guess that does it. You guys are all ready to go? Spring's coming. Dig those clams.
Hope your harvest is
Sure it's
good.
gonna snow.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We don't want to rush, we have to catch a tide tonight.
Gentlemen, it's our pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
See you, Mike.
Bye, Jack.
We've already done the country club. Okay, old business number 2. Town administrator update on the annex siding. Okay. Okay, old business, town administrator update and exciting. Debbie needs to start working on the application for the CPC for funding the annex siding project. And what she's given us is a breakdown of costs here. Siding, the cement board project, including the gutters and trim, will cost a total of $82,750. And an additional $13,000 for gutters and trim. A cement board siding, $96,000. This amount reflects the prevailing wage rate, so it would be actually 96 instead of the 82. And that's the total cost of the project, Deb?
Well, yeah, 96,000 for the siding, the gutters, and the
And
trim,
the trim, yeah.
cement board.
So that's the total.
Which we discussed when we revised that to make sure that it included that prevailing wage rate and
Yeah.
that the vendor gave us as a estimate.
Okay. So the Historic District Commission gave the Board of Selectmen approval on the cement board siding project. Debbie had that heard that the CPC was discussing cement board at their last meeting as a possible material that is not covered under the CPC. Debbie is not sure how the board wants to proceed with the application. We also have the quote for the wood clapboard project. The estimated cost for the cedar wood clapboard is $11,000 and includes the trim. $111,000 and includes the trim but not the gutters. So, Joe, I think you might be able to add something to that as far as the cement board issue.
Yes. As the Board of Selectmen representative to the Community Preservation Committee, I made a call to Boston this afternoon and spoke to Catherine Roth. And she made a presentation at the Tewksbury State meeting that I attended in last November and is very knowledgeable about the state law on community preservation projects. And we talked about the cement board, and we can use cement board for the siding, but we cannot use community preservation funds to fund the project. If we want to use the community preservation funds, then we would have to go with the clapboard, the wood clapboard.
Okay. We have to file this application with the CPC soon, so Debbie needs guidance from the Board of Selectmen on how to proceed. She's also got a price here for insulation, which only makes sense to me. If we're gonna be taking the old siding off and putting new siding on, we should insulate the building at the same time.
Right.
We obtained a quote for the installation of the building. The installation quote is $18,750. So I think what we need to do is get Debbie some guidance, given the new facts that Joe has just presented, that we cannot purchase cement board siding with CPC funds, although we can use cement board on the building, but we would have to purchase it out of the general fund.
Correct.
So I would recommend that we get a price for the gutters and trim. We have a price right now at $13,000. That we request $111,000 from CPC for cedar wood clapboard. Now Deb is,
Well, for some reason, we'll get clarification from the company we sought these quotes for. The $111,000 would be for the clapboard and the trim, but not the gutters. But we
Okay.
can also ask them for a price for that. And Joe, would that be something that would be covered then?
My understanding is, yeah.
Okay, as part of the total restoration as well as the insulation.
right, that would, I think that's the way to go. Now my only
So it could
question,
be slightly higher. It could probably be about maybe $115,000 with the gutters
okay,
or more.
and the insulation?
Well, the insulation, then you have to add in, if that's what the board wants to do, probably approximately $20,000 for insulation.
Okay, I mean, it's up to the board, but if you want to discuss it, that's fine.
You're looking at about 143, 144,000.
I think we should probably, my only other question would be, and I don't want to interrupt the discussion, but if that's okay, I mean, we should discuss it, so.
Right, well, the meeting is going to be on the 21st
Mhm.
for the Community Preservation Committee. And we would have to decide
Get those
what
quotes.
we wanted to do
Yeah.
and get the quotes so that we would know.
Well, we do have the quotes. We have the insulation quote and the wood clapboard. So I
Okay.
just need to make sure if the board wants to go with wood clapboard.
Or the cement board.
Yeah, and we can just get some confirmation on the cost of, if there's any difference between the cost for gutters, the cement board or clapboard. I don't know. For some reason, they had combined it a little in the clapboard information.
Mhm.
In my opinion, we cannot afford not to insulate. That's not an expense in the long run, that's an investment.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely,
And,
yes.
And that is
I
the
agree
time to
with-
do it,
And
while
with
the
the,
building is apart.
with the siding on, the only way to insulate it is from the outside.
Yep.
You can't insulate it from the inside, you'd be
Right.
destroying the whole inside of the building. So if we got the siding off, that's the time to do it, absolutely.
And so there's it's foam insulation, spray foam.
It's gonna be probably rock wool or cellulose that would be blown in,
Yeah, it's,
or are they talking foam?
I think it was cellulose.
Cellulose, that's a blown-in insulation.
R13 stabilized cellulose blow insulation,
Yeah, and that's
exterior wall.
that's really the easiest way to do it. And it's gonna get it in there, it packs right in really nice. And that stuff's come a long way since it first came
Yeah.
out. It really has, so. My only question would be, if we go with the cedar, can we get it pre-painted? or will we have to have somebody paint it?
I think,
I know that the cement board comes pre-painted.
The only problem I see with it, the cedar side and pre-painted, you have to be careful because most of it comes primed, it's finger jointed. And you do not want finger jointed siding outside to the weather. Does not seem to hold up.
if you look at, if it's tagged here, cedar siding and trim, maybe we should just focus a little bit on this page, because when we discussed this last, we were really looking at the the cement board, and we had a very focused discussion on what that was involved. Maybe we just need to look at this clearly so we can make sure that this is what you want to do. If bullet 14 says paint siding and trim with 2 coats, 100% acrylic exterior paint.
Well, if they have white, we may not want white, but
No.
that's minor, it's a color.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming that the cost is, that they're quoting us includes painting.
yes,
Okay.
it doesn't seem to be pre-painted though.
Well, it's primed according to the number
Yeah.
1. 4-inch reveal,
As long as it,
but what they're saying is it's FJ, which is finger jointed.
Okay,
excuse me, what you say, Bob?
What they're saying is it's install 4-inch reveal siding, FJ primed lap siding, which is finger jointed
You
siding.
don't want finger jointed up exterior.
So we may have to
okay, so we'll have to get another,
find out if we can get it not finger jointed.
We asked about red cedar clapboards, it specified that they were primed on both sides.
What are the clapboards that are on there now?
They're probably
Cedar.
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 But all of the trim seems to be a finger jointed pine. 5, 6, 8, 9
Oh, yeah?
are all saying FJ. And I have to agree with Stu. I've seen some of the newer doors that the contractors are putting in, and the trump side trim is finger jointed, and within 5, 6, 7 years, you start to see the finger joints showing through and starting to pull apart.
You can't keep the weather out. Finger joints only good on interior, as far as I'm concerned.
So,
You haven't made headway if you get a dozen years out of it.
I know. That's why the cement board's so good. Okay, so I think that what we want to do is have you maybe check on a couple of these, the FJs particularly, and try to put something together from there.
okay, so
But
we'll have to have this on next week's agenda.
yeah,
So no finger jointing and primed on both sides? You want it primed on both sides?
Yeah, it should be, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, that way we don't have to worry about if the water gets in behind it, it'll help protect it.
Seal the moisture out there.
Yeah.
Do most companies do the finger joining, or?
Well, it's a type of, it's what it is. Instead of making a long
Yeah, they
clapboard,
just
they
interlock
take
it.
scrap pieces and they finger join it and glue it together like this.
Exactly.
They call it finger joining.
Mhm.
And that's how it's held together. And as Stu said, I've seen it coming apart after a number
Yeah.
of years.
There
So-
may be then a cost change that I think if it's a little more, less fabricated in the factory.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm
just
sure
this
that
price
they're giving us a
probably
big price to try to get the job, and,
It's gonna go up, I think, probably.
It's all right in the long
Okay.
run.
yeah, but we wanna spec it out as real wood
Sure.
instead
Right.
of
Okay,
fake wood. If you will, I mean, it's just one of those things, that's how they make it, so. Okay, so I'd like to take a vote to allow Debbie and the staff to move forward on this, to get the application ready for CPC.
I'll make that motion.
A motion made, do I have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Old business number 3, discuss fiscal 14 budget and update Triton budget.
I'd like to comment on the shortest school committee meeting I've ever attended. Last Wednesday night, we had an open hearing on the school budget. And Dina Sullivan, the chairwoman of the school committee, opened the meeting for comments from the public. And I was the first one to step up and speak. And just made a comment about how we had already expended our entire snow removal budget, and had the whole month of March to consider. Hopefully we weren't going to have any snow in April. And then I read the letter that the town administrator had prepared that basically restated what we had sent from the board, that we asked the school committee to consider the Raleigh proposal of splitting our increase in revenue to the $216,000. And again, Brian Forget, who was the assistant superintendent, said that while they had voted a preliminary budget of increase to Raleigh of approximately $294,000, that he thought it would come in closer to our figure of 216, or it should meet somewhere in between. They are going to have a final vote on that on the 13th.
Okay.
I was there at the meeting, and I must say, I was impressed with Brian Fogart's hard work on the budget. Actually, the school committee and the administration, but Brian Fogart has reduced, I want to say, the electric contract by $114,000, and the health insurance is what is bringing it down from the 292 closer to the 216.
They've really done an awful lot of work, and they are doing their best. We would, they are working. They would like to fund a level services, and but they are coming close to a level funded proposal. They are seeking some increases for some positions at the high school and in the elementary schools. But I think they've really done an awful lot of work in sorting through the different proposals and coming up with something that the towns can afford.
Yeah, that's great.
I think they've done a really great job.
Well, thank you, Joe, for that update. Is there any other discussion or comments? Okay. Well, I think what we need to do is, at this point, is to until we have a firm number from Triton, I think we should proceed with having town budgets level funded on a preliminary basis. If you remember right, we, a few weeks back, voted to level fund our town budgets until we could get a better handle on what the revenue would be and what our expenses would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to probably keep that going that way until we get an actual firm number from Triton, and then we can decide how the budget should be funded after that.
Great.
So, do we need to vote on it, Deb, or we just
No.
just keep it going forward?
Just try to update it every week, and
Yep.
of course, everything is just writing on what the school
Right.
comes out with, so
Yeah.
seems like we're going in a good direction.
It sounds great, yeah. And I think we'll be okay if we can do what Joe has indicated. Okay. So that takes me down to announcements. And the Raleigh Food Pantry is in need of donations. The food pantry is open on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. The town has the following vacant seats: Planning Board full member, Planning Board associate member, and Zoning Board of Appeals associate member, 3 open seats. The Planning Board is really in kind of dire straits at this point. They only have actually 4 working members at this point, and if they get many projects that come in that require what is known as a super majority, they're unable to do that at this point. So if there's anybody out there at all that's interested in the Planning Board, please come forward, let us know, so that we can work with you and maybe get you on and you can give us a hand with the town. Somebody who wants to get back to the town, would appreciate it very much. Battery recycling box located at Town Hall and Library. It's been a big hit so far. Keep the old batteries coming so they don't get put into the landfills. And Joe,
My turn?
your turn.
Thank you. It's this Saturday, finally, it's here. The Friends of the Rowley Public Library, 11th Annual Some Like It Hot Chili Cook-Off is Saturday, March 9th, 2013, and it will run from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. But this year it will be at the Governor's Academy in Byfield, and you can look for me at the door. I'll be selling tickets, and we urge everybody to attend. It's a good time, good chili, and we have entertainment and lots of things to snack on. So we invite all to attend and have a really great time.
Okay. So our last order of business tonight will be an executive session for litigation and non-union contract negotiation session. The chairman calls for a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing strategy with respect to litigation and to discuss contract negotiations with non-union personnel, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating and negotiating position of the town, and to not return into open session. And the chairman declares that the strategy is with respect to litigation and discussion of contract negotiations, and it would be a detriment, have a detrimental effect on the litigation negotiation position of the town, and the chairman so declares. I need a member to make a motion and have it seconded and take a vote by roll call.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to go into executive session and not to return in open session by roll call vote.
Jack Cook.
Aye, Joe Perry.
I, Robert Mary.
I, Stu Dalzell.
We are in executive session.